927 Sports now.
Well, good evening. We are back. We are here in the Nooga Radio Control Center. And we just want to say thank you to Keon Rose for filling in for me last night. I had made the trek up to Pennsylvania to be with my fifth son, Matthew, more affectionately known within the inner circle of the Jordan clan as Peanut. Now, Peanut was a very little baby when he was born. I cannot say that now. 6 foot, 285. Yeah, I'm 6 foot, but I'm only around 250. So he's got me in a little bit of girth. He can't take me. I never let any of my boys take me down in wrestling or anything like that. But Matt was having their high school wrestling banquet last night up in Northwest PA. And so we made the trip up to Northwest PA to the Erie area and got to enjoy spending some great time with his classmates and friends that I haven't seen in a while since I had lived up there where I had one of my radio stations. And so it was good to get reacquainted with a lot of old friends and some colleagues as well from the Corey Journal. R.L. McCrae, he is one of those curmudgeons that you can never get out of your mind. Very sincere, very astute sports writer, and very accomplished photographer, I will add as well. And whenever I would do a sports cast, wherever it may be, and it was within the Journal's print area, you know, I always, and they were also a sponsor in our sportscast on WWCB, but I would always say, if you missed my play-by-play, you can always catch up in R.L. McCrae's descriptions of the contest in tomorrow's edition of the Corey Journal. And, you know, he even reminded me, he says, I kind of miss that. And it's like, I'm sure you do. But it was good to see RL and see my old partner, Bill, and a lot of others and some of the school officials that I dealt with on a regular basis there at Corey. And, you know, it's hard to believe my Peanut is graduating here in June. And the thing to kind of get it tied in with my show, besides him being my son, is I never, ever thought that Peanut would ever want to get involved in sports. He just never gave that inclination. Sometimes that happens. And sometimes, you know, individuals that you may not think that has any interest in sports, well, they turned out to be a real gem, you know, for teams, schools or whatever. But Matt has really fell in love with the area. The community up there has really fell in love with him. He gets a little bit of my personality as far as, I don't know if showmanship would actually be the word to describe him, but last night he ended up stealing the show when the seniors, and there were 4 of them on the wrestling team that had an opportunity to make speeches if they'd like. And of course, my Peanut, he really had a stand-up one-pager. He kept it to one page, which kind of surprised me a little bit, but he covered all the bases. And of course, he praised his mother for making sure that he got to the matches, you know, or met the bus to go on the trips to wherever they would be wrestling at, and for watching them. And that's one thing that I miss, that I didn't get to see him wrestle this year. I did get to see him play on senior night in football back in October. And that was really a great moment, and walking him across the field, you know, arm in arm there. And, you know, when you've got kids that are involved in high school sports, you know, you try to support them in every possible way that you can. And I've got one more after this. And that's Rocky. His real name is Timothy Aaron. So I'm hoping that he'll have that same opportunity as Matt did. Matt played in football. He was a part of the basketball team as well as the wrestling team. He did both basketball and wrestling up until this year, and he decided to just do wrestling for the winter sports. And then in the spring, this was the one that he started it all off with. Well, he did do golf a little bit, but he got into trap, with shooting. And so that was one of his first sports that he was able to participate in. And the team, his school team, has won the state championship 6 or 7 times up in Pennsylvania for trap shooting. So, I was really proud of him, and I know his mother was proud of him as well. But it was really great to see him kind of just command the presence, work in the room like he does. But that's why I wasn't here last night, and Keon filled in for me today with the sports updates, and I appreciate that as well. We did not get back to Chattanooga until 2:15 this afternoon. We left Pennsylvania at 9 o'clock, and we made it to Columbus, Ohio around 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was starting to snow like crazy. And it was to the point where you could not see hardly in front of you at all. I mean, visibility was really bad. So we pulled off at this truck stop, took a little bit of a nap, woke up around 3. Snow had kind of subsided a little bit. And so I get out of the car and I look, it's like, this was not just a brief snow shower. We got my tape measure out, measured 8 inches of snow, fresh snow on the ground where we were at. And it was like, I'm wondering if the plows were out. I mean, we kind of had an idea that we were going to run into snow in Kentucky and Ohio, but we didn't think that it was going to be that bad. And then we got back on the road, and we took it gingerly. Even the tractor trailers were doing 40 to 50 miles per hour. So if those speed demons are a little bit concerned when they're only doing 40 to 50. So, we got down as we were driving towards Cincinnati to jump on 75 there. It just kept getting worse as we went along, and it was a little bit of a nor'easter that was coming through the area. And I tell you what, I mean, I've had my experiences with Chattanooga drivers since I've been here in the area since September. But I tell you what, the ones that are in Cincinnati and northern Kentucky are probably the worst. They do not know how to drive whatsoever. I mean, no courtesies or anything out on the roadway. Saw a ton of cops in Ohio, and I saw a couple in Kentucky, but that was in the southern part of the state once you got past Lexington, coming back toward Chattanooga. But and it was like it had 10 different accidents that happened within our viewing, looking out the windshield. The one in particular, Beth was with me, and she just woke up and kind of sat up, and she's, oh my God. There was a car that was going right across in front of us. I mean, we had plenty of room to brake quickly if we had to. And it went right off the roadway and right into a tree. And it was like, the way that the traffic was going, we didn't have time to stop, but there was another vehicle behind us that did stop to render assistance, and hopefully everybody's okay on that. But I mean, there were cars going here, there, and everywhere, but that's why you got to use a little common sense. And even though we've been used to the snow and everything, because up in the Erie area, we would see 150 inches of snow in a season and not really think twice about it. But come down here, they close the schools as soon as the flurry comes out of the sky. And it's like, why? But because they don't close schools up there unless there's a foot on the ground or it's 0 or colder. But But I guess that's one of the nuances when you move to the South. And I'm originally a Southerner from over in the Little Rock area. So it's like we're rounding our way back toward home, but it's just kind of how funny people are, when they talk about snow in the forecast and then experiencing what we did, because the trip should have been only about 11 hours each way. And, like I said, we left at 9 last night, did not get back until 2:15 here this afternoon. So 12, 14, 17 and a quarter hours it took us to come back from Pennsylvania. So, but no matter what, the highlight was seeing our son, getting his pens and letter and all that. Well, he already had his letter from football and stuff from previous season, but adding his pens and stuff and getting awards that he was given by the Booster Club and the wrestling squad, it was really a great sight. And then the speech that he gave was just priceless. We were supposed to have the commissioner of the Gridiron Development Football League on with us here tonight, and I even gave him the info where he needed to call us in at, but we have not gotten word back from him. He's supposed to be calling in here for this segment here, but that's why you always have a plan B backup. So a lot of things going on in the world of sports. University of Louisville made a decision earlier today for David Padgett's interim reign as the head coach of that program is coming to an end. He is not being retained past this season. And it wasn't surprising for Padgett, who is a Louisville assistant for 3 years before assuming the head coaching position after the FBI's pay-for-play investigation that caught Rick Pitino in the midst of that lair. And the Cardinals began the season as a top 25 team, but by the time October got around, Pitino was fired. 5-star freshman Brian Bowen was suspended in connection with that investigation and finished the season 22-14 on the outside looking in at the big dance. And they didn't even get the consideration, I don't believe, if I'm not mistaken, even with the NIT. They basically, no, they did go make it to the NIT quarterfinals. I apologize on that. But Padgett was on a 1-year contract as it was. And so, it just, I think they're looking for a fresh start altogether. After the debacle going on with Rick Pitino and the pay for play, people have talked about pay for play for quite some time. And, they may not call it pay for play. They give stipends for players. I look at it this way: you're getting an education supposedly for 4 years, sometimes 5, and in return for that, you play for that university or college, and so that is your give for the take that you're getting in as far as getting a college degree. There's been a lot of talk here in the last several years, and it's really picking up steam now here ever since the pay for play investigation by the FBI, caught up a lot of coaches and some players at some high profile schools, to where the conversation has came back, maybe the players should get some sort of compensation, for their abilities and stuff, because whether it's UT, Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, Penn State, these big time schools, make a lot of money. Football is usually the revenue generator for a particular college athletic program and usually helps other programs outside of the athletics community. Now, I can't say anything specific about UTC, nor would I want to, because, you understand it is a smaller school. They don't have the resources like Rocky Top does, or what goes on down in Athens or over in Fayetteville or up in University Park there at State College, where Penn State's at, where I have a lot of familiarity. But, schools like UTC don't have that kind of capabilities in order to do a stipend or pay for play or whatever you want to call it. But I think that they're going to have to come to a gripping decision in the not too distant future of maybe having something like that. Not something that's going to be an amount that you're going to be able to live off of, just kind of help out, with while you're going through school. Because if you're there on a scholarship, you're basically been taken care of. If you have a car or something like that, if you're a high valuable athlete, you don't want them to have any risk or dangers of getting hurt outside the playing surface. Just like in the Army, my oldest twin son, James, when he signed up, the recruiter told him, once you sign this line, your parents sign as well, you are ours. And we're going to restrict what you're going to be doing when you're not on a military installation. Because at the time when he signed up, he was 17. And this was something he wanted to do and thought long and hard about it. And even the recruiter says, make sure this is something that you want to do. So he was all gung-ho, and he's still in the Army, still proudly serving our country. And it's like when he got out of his first tour, he had went over to Iraq and Kuwait. It was actually southern Iraq and Kuwait. And he was into dirt bikes and ATVs and race cars and stuff. In fact, we had a race team that we did with one of the dirt tracks up in central Pennsylvania. And he ran the 4-cylinder class and eventually went into the 600 micro sprints and the 270 micro sprints. And it's like, but he was out riding a dirt bike, I think down in Virginia. And when he went up on one of the jumps, he came back down and landed on his rear end and kind of gave him some back issues. And the Army were not happy with that at all, because, basically when you sign with the Army, you're theirs and they can tell you what you can do and what you can't do as far as off base activities and stuff like that. But getting back to what I'm trying to say and trying to make this point, if you're going to be at a major college, like up at Rocky Top or in Athens or wherever it may be, big Division I school of the FBS division, I think that those schools ought to compensate those players, because they're bringing revenue in indirectly for that school. When you have a school that's the size of UTC, or whether it's Lee University or Covenant College, or, whatever school of that scale that doesn't have a whole lot of revenue potential, there may have to be another footprint to devise for schools of that size. That would be in the FCS or NAIA division or junior college level. Junior college, you're probably not going to be able to see anything at all. But when you've got a Division I FCS program, or even if it's Division II or Division III in the NCAA, or with the NAIA division that there is, with a lot of schools that we do have in our immediate area, you're going to have to find a different funding scenario for schools of that size. Not unless the big FBS schools like Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Penn State, USC, Notre Dame, schools of that level, and you know what I'm talking about, puts X amount of dollars into a pool that's collectively used for the smaller schools that would be on the FCS or Division II or Division III levels. I really don't see that happening, but I'm just saying that is one possible scenario. After the break, we'll get into this a little bit more. I'll encourage you to call in with your comments or questions. 423-800-8949. 423-800-8949. Sports Talk with Sam Jordan returns in a moment.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
Local schools upping security. Armed officers are on duty at Bradley County schools as a reaction to the Parkland, Florida shooting. You can't enter the school's campus without first being checked by an officer at the booth who will take your ID and vet you. A Calhoun woman accused of robbing a man she met online. She is 30-year-old Lori Thacker and sits in the Gordon County Jail accused of robbing a man that she met on social media. The victim tells officers that Thacker assaulted him and robbed him at gunpoint after agreeing to meet her. Police say a second person may be charged. $3 million is set aside for school bus seatbelts following Governor Bill Haslam's decision to set aside the money through a proposed budget amendment for a grant program. Chattanooga lawmaker Joanne Favors brought the legislation in the wake of the 2016 deadly crash of the Woodmore Elementary school bus. Val St. John for Nooga Radio. News Talk 92.7. News now.
Traffic, news, and information. Nooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM.
Expect fair to partly cloudy skies to continue through your nighttime. Cold overnight, lows mid and upper 20s. Now for your Wednesday, look for some sunshine with a breeze out of the north, though. Light cold, highs up around 40 with more mainly dry and cold weather expected through Friday. Celebrate the new year with Dixieland Fireworks, locally owned with the largest selection around. A Black Hat dealer with the lowest prices in Dixie. Dixieland Fireworks, just off I-75 on Ringgold Road, East Ridge. And I'm Storm Team 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM.
They're all under $10,000.
$10,000.
That's right. Powerful V8 Hemi cars under $10,000 at Southern Fleet Sales in East Ridge. But you got to get there now for the best selection. These are retired cop cars. And man, are they fast. You want to look really cool. You want a fast car for under 10 grand. Then get to Southern Fleet Sales in East Ridge. That's not just a V8. It's a V8 Hemi cop car. SouthernFleetSales.com. 3900 Ringgold Road, East Ridge. Oh, man, rush. I've got to get stuff for the party. Where can I go that's going to give me a wide selection of beer, wines, and spirits? Oh, I got it. I'll go to Harry's Wine and Spirits, Signal Mountain. Maybe East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd. I could go to Riley's Wines and Spirits in Hickson. Wow, look at the huge selection in here. Look at these great prices. Amazing. Oh, yeah, I'm going to find something for my lady, too. I'm going to make this party a success.
Make your party a success when you stop in at Harry's Wine and Spirits in Signal Mountain, East Brainerd Wine and Spirits in East Brainerd, and Riley's Wine and Spirits in Hickson.
Mom's Furniture, her boxes of paperback romances, Mom's Estate. Oh, call Dan. Dan will help you get on with your life. Let Dan clear the old house, take care of everything. He'll hand you a nice check. 314-4034. Dan the Cleanup Man, 314-4034. In this moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you with whom? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens. In this moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Let Goss Insurance in Chattanooga help you today. GossInsurance.wordpress.com. Goss, representing Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people. GossInsurance.com. Goss. GossInsurance.com, representing Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people. 875-2500, 875-2500.
Your car is broken or about to be, so the problem is, who do you trust? I wouldn't go any farther than Christian Brothers Automotive in Hickson. Come in today and take advantage of the new special. It's an oil change with synthetic oil. At $39, that's a steal. Synthetic oil makes your car or truck last longer. Some restrictions apply. At Christian Brothers, a great shop with a 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty. You decide. Free shuttle service, Class A mechanics. Local owner, nice difference. A synthetic oil change, $39. Wow.
Nooga Radio, digital FM 95.3 HD4 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree? Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM and 95.3 HD4. News Talk Nooga Radio. It's the moment you've been waiting for. Sam Jordan's Nooga Radio, 92.7 Sports. Now.
Well, good evening and welcome back to the second half hour of our show. Sports Talk with Sam Jordan here on Nooga Radio, 92.7 FM, 95.3 FM HD4, and of course on NoogaRadio.com. And we're also streaming on YouTube and Facebook Live as well. And our special guest that we have here for tonight's segment is Mr. Charles Thompson. He's the commissioner and part of the executive committee of the Gridiron Development Football League. Good evening, Mr. Thompson.
Hey, good evening. How you doing?
Not bad. The Gridiron Development Football League, how did it come about and when did it get formed and how did it get its auspicious beginnings?
Well, actually, the Gridiron Development Football League started back in 2009. Actually, it was a league that was born. I was in I've been doing football pretty much. Let me just digress a minute. I've been doing football for a long time, everything from Pee Wee, high school, dealt with a few colleges, etc. So, I've been in football all my life, pretty much, Sam. And in 2009, I was actually, I was running a minor professional team, pro development team, as we call them. And I ended up getting injured on a work-related incident. And I was helping out another league. And, at the time, I was, just trying to, make sure that our team was going to make it. But anyway, I got hurt. I got injured. I ended up in ICU. And, the league that we were a part of, it started fledgling a little bit. And a lot of people, I was helping it out at the time. And, they decided, hey, this guy's over here, he's in the hospital. And I wasn't thinking about football, but they were trying to get me to help them out with the league while I was in the hospital. And, I got I was, a little bored, I guess, and so I started tinkering around with it. And lo and behold, the GDFL was born, and all of the guys that put their trust in me and putting this league together, they were part of something that has been very successful since 2009. And we're excited about being one of the top premier minor professional leagues in the country. We have several teams in different areas, and we're just, we're in a position to help young men achieve their goals and make it to the next level. And that's what the GDFL is pretty much how it was born, how it came about. I know that was short and quick, but I know I don't want to burn up all your time talking. I can go into great detail, but I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of how it all began.
Now, pretty much the GDFL has been more of a lower Midwest and Southeast region of teams that have been participating. This season, you're adding teams that were in the Pennsylvania Football League as well as the Ohio Football League, which was where I was used to with the Erie Express, and also with the team that I was a part owner with, Western Pennsylvania Kings last year. The league has really grown exponentially here, especially going into the 2018 season. So it's a great attribute. I mean, in the outsider looking in, of how this league has grown over a period of time, but you've done it kind of cautiously, but optimistically as well.
Well, a little bit of both. I mean, it's trial by fire, and sometimes, we actually was on the East Coast once before, and of course, We ran in, of course, we ran into a few issues, so we backed down a little bit, and we decided to go about it a little bit more cautiously and make sure that we had a great footprint for the teams coming in on the East, Midwest, South, etc. So we wanted to make sure that we took our time and we built this league, so that we can ensure that we'll be around for years to come. So it pretty much came to that, and so we've been going and surging right along, and we've been very successful in putting, teams like Erie and Pittsburgh and Cleveland, and we're excited about those teams. We even have a team up in Buffalo, New York now. So we're very excited about the level of play and the competition that those teams are going to bring and add to what we already have. So it's definitely been a cautious but a steady movement forward as far as what we have going on with other areas.
Now, I see by looking at your website, which is gdfl.org, when you look at the teams and everything that are participating in the GDFL, you try to keep the divisions, even though you have the Impact Conference and the Extreme Conference, and then you've got different divisions for each of those conferences. You try to keep good regional rivalries as much as possible. How important is that with the various teams that are all over, the eastern half of the United States?
Well, it's very important that we keep our footprint, where it is, and try to keep teams regional, and also give these teams an opportunity to play the rivalries that that make any league fluid and make it move forward. So it's very important that we keep everyone within that regional footprint, because once the playoffs start, depending on where you fall within that, we operate basically under the same rules as the NFL, the same playoff. The way the playoff system is set up in the NFL, we operate up under the same pretenses. We have 4 divisions in each conference. We have 2 conferences, the Extreme Conference and the Impact Conference. And of course, those teams, the top 4 division winners automatically get that bid, and then you got 2 wild cards. So it pretty much operates under the same operating it operates as the same as the NFL when it comes to the playoffs. So it's very important to keep that regional footprint in play.
Now, Chattanooga's a second-year member in the GDFL. Last year, they won their Extreme West Division Championship. And this year, they weren't for sure if they were going to be in the same division again or in the same conference, and whether they were going to have similar rivalries with teams that they had last year. I know at one point Huntsville was being put into a different division in the Extreme Conference. And it's like, Chattanooga thought, well, that's one of our good rivals that we built up just from last season. And then, by the time the schedule was released and everything, Huntsville's back in there with them. And it's like, good close rivalries. And, besides Huntsville, Middle Tennessee Bulldogs and Tennessee Lightning Bolts, there's other teams that are in the GDFL, like Memphis, with your team there, the Memphis Blast. Do you feel like that we're going to see other markets that are similar size cities become a part of the GDFL footprint?
Without a doubt. I mean, we're growing every year. We've already gotten, interest for the 2019 season, believe it or not. So it's a lot going on, and we're excited about the teams that want to be a part of this. Early on we had a lot of movement. So we were trying to, of course, one of our goals is to try to keep our divisions even and keep the conferences even. So it's a juggling act to a certain degree. We're still in development. We're still in the process of expanding. You may see a few changes here and there in the divisions, but we're trying to get everything locked down to where we will continue to be able to have the same teams in the same divisions every year. We wanted to keep the Huntsville and the Eagle rivalry going. We felt that was a very good situation. And then with us bringing on the Middle Tennessee Bulldogs and the Lightning Bolts, that even gives it more of an impact in that region there in the southeastern region. So we're pretty excited about how the divisions actually came about and laid out. It started a little shaky, but we got it under control, and I think everybody's going to enjoy the level of play that they're going to see from the GDFL and the teams that are a part of it. And we're definitely proud of the Chattanooga Eagles being a very well-organized organization and represent the GDFL very well. So we're excited about those guys, and we're looking forward to see them play again in the 2018 season.
Now, Mr. Robinson, when you first put together the footprint for the Gridiron Development Football League, what were some of the key things that you really wanted to have in place that would be a part of that mission statement for all the teams that are representing the GDFL? What would be some of those things, other than providing a good family atmosphere, whenever there is a game being played out in the community? Besides that, I mean, what are some of the other key components of the GDFL?
Well, the key component in the GDFL, of course, is having mentors, these young men, giving them an opportunity to be mentors in the community and making a positive impact in the community. Not only, talking about football, but, dealing with our youth. We do a lot of youth initiatives in our organization. So that's very key to what we do, and making sure that our players understand the importance of community, family, and, of course, great entertainment. And, of course, putting together a professional-looking organization where these guys will get the opportunity to go out, live out their dreams for the love of the game, and hopefully in the process of all of that, get the opportunity to move on to a higher level of play. But the main goal is to make an impact in our community, creating, great athletes through positive community service. And that's what we're really all about, man. A lot of people, we've been fortunate enough to have a good product, a good brand, and be able to represent each community in a great light. So we're excited about that. And, of course, just instilling community pride by using the local talent in the area. So each organization, each team has its own, you got guys from different walks of life, guys that are from those cities that have played high school, college ball there. And that's what we call hometown teams. So we're very excited about just, being able to put something on that the fans in the community can be proud of.
Now, with everything that's been going on here recently, you've got the XFL that's looking at coming into existence again, and then just today, the Alliance for American Football is going to be starting up. They've already got a national television contract with CBS that will start here in the spring of next year. What makes a huge difference and has made the GDFL stand out for 9 years, going into its 9th season? I've worked with other minor league teams, on the indoor football circuit, part of the Continental Indoor Football League, which at the time was the longest serving indoor football league. And then all of a sudden it just kind of disintegrated and fell apart. Teams were scrambling, looking to join other leagues. There's been the Southern Professional Football League. There's been many other football leagues that, are on the same similar scale, whether they're indoor or outdoor, that's came and went. AIF, or its reincarnation with the AIFA, with John Morris and some of those characters there. What has made the big difference for the GDFL to stand out and survive all these years?
Well, I mean, basically, as far as what I just kind of elaborated on, as far as the community, it's community pride. It's guys within that community that live in these communities, that work in these communities, and that's, giving their community a positive impact by mentoring. We keep everything based in the community. We want people to understand that this is actually your hometown team. And, you get so many different leagues. They try to expand too big and too fast. Sometimes small and just taking baby steps and taking the time to realize what it is that you want to accomplish. Yeah, we don't have the 20,000, 30,000 seat stadiums, and we don't have the big name players or anything like that, but it's a consistency in which we believe in, a formula in which we believe in, that if we, deal with our community, deal with the people in the community and play in those communities and make it affordable for everyone involved, then it becomes a situation where our teams are consistently trying to grow each year. We're growing by leaps and bounds. We're getting so many young men on the next level as far as, arena, overseas, international, NFL, AFL, you name it. So we are a true developmental football league that's making a true impact in the communities in which we live. And we're proud of that fact. And we hope that some of these leagues will take a look at some of the guys that we have and want them to be a part of it. But we also want them to look at the league as a whole and maybe partner with us and, decide, hey, you know what, maybe the framework that they're using to stay where they are each year and year in and year out, maybe we need to look at that and sit down and talk with those guys and see if we can develop a partnership or put a process in place where the GDFL can, be recognized on a larger scale. But, we're a developmental league. We're not in competition with anybody else. We just do what we do as an organization. And we hope that our fans, the sponsors, the media will start to gravitate to what we're trying to do so that we can give them the type of product and football product that they're looking for. It's real football for real football fans.
One of the things that I was enamored with when I worked with indoor football was that they were able to work sort of like as a farm system for the Canadian Football League and also with the AFL. I know that has got to be on your radar, in trying to move these athletes up to the next level and everything. Do you think that could be something that would be accomplished in the next couple of years, or do you think that's a long-term goal?
Well, our goal is always to get our players to the next level, so to speak. We're a development league. We've as a matter of fact, if you go to the GDFL fan zone and look up next level pro, you'll see, and this is just one page of the guys. We still got to make some updates and things like that. When you run a small, business or a small league like us, you don't have all the people around you, analysts and things like that to help you do everything. But we are updating our page, and if you look at our next level pros, you'll see that we place several guys on international teams, arena teams, CFL teams, and even the ultimate goal is to put guys in the NFL. So you can go look at that on the GDFL.org. Go to our fan zone tab and click on next level pros, and you can take a look and see exactly the number of players that we have been able to put on the next level. So we already feel like we're in partnership with a lot of different, not just one league. And I understand what you're saying, but our goal is to partner with, and get strong ties with not only arena teams and international, but to be able to get those strong ties with the NFL as well as the CFL and hopefully if the XFL and the American League that's about to start, if they develop into something bigger and stronger, then we want to be able to develop ties with those. So we're not just looking at one entity that we want to promote our players to. We want to look at any entity as giving those guys a real opportunity to do the things that they love and be able to get paid while they do it on a higher level. So that's pretty much our goal.
Yeah, I'm looking at the page right now, Antonio Wells, and also with Cameron Mayfield, and you've had several others just from your Memphis club along. that has been able to move up to that next level, and Gerard Kaufman being another one. So Jonathan Ray. So that, that is a good thing. Delvin Breaux, that played with the Bio Vipers, is with the New Orleans Saints as a part of their team. So, and then you see a lot of others that are out there that are on some foreign football league teams, like in Germany or Hungary or, wherever around the world. So, that is a good accolade there to be touting there, that you do have players that have played in the GDFL that are making it big. Charles Thompson, our guest from the Gridiron Development Football League. League gets underway April 28th with its first game of the season. Various locations around the area. And, of course, Chattanooga Eagles exclusive home right here on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM. Thanks, Mr. Thompson, for joining us here tonight. And maybe we can talk to you or meet you in person here in the near future.
Man, I'm looking forward to it, Sam. I appreciate you guys having me on the show. I want to thank all the fans in Chattanooga for supporting the team there. You guys have a great organization in Chattanooga Eagles, and we're excited about the 2018 season. And make sure you go check out the GDFL, www.gdfl.org. Appreciate you, sir.
That's going to do it for tonight, and we'll be back with you tomorrow. Have a great evening. The Clutch with Keon Rose is coming up next here on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM. Take care.
Chattanooga Morning News with Russ and Val. Weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
An industrial accident in Chatsworth at the Mohawk plant left one man dead. 59-year-old Roy Glenn Bass reportedly hit by a large roller. EMS was on scene, but it was too late for Mr. Bass. He died there. The Occupational Health and Safety Administration was notified. They're going to carry out an investigation. Local schools are upping security in Bradley County. Armed officers on duty. The sheriff's office agreed to add a total of 3 armed guards to the high schools in the area. It's as a reaction to the Parkland shooting and various threats the schools have received. Now nobody can go in or out without first being checked by an officer. Martin Luther King Boulevard is now back open, but Georgia Avenue between Martin Luther King Boulevard and Patton Parkway will be closed for underground construction. Miller Plaza is set to reopen this summer. Sean Hannity, weekdays.